have you edged God out? How have you created distance or diminished your connection to Him? In what ways is your life missing His presence? Maybe you used to read the Bible. Maybe you used to take time to pray, have quiet time with God, to listen, ask for His direction. Maybe you used to be active in community groups or seek out the fellowship of those that were like you. But something has happened along the way. And you no longer make time for what you used to make time for. Instead, you make excuses why you can't or don't make it a priority. Are you still with me? Cultivating connection with God. Yes, it grows us spiritually, but it also grooms us to produce at our highest level. That's the exact reason why Pastor Chris was just up here, right? And he was talking and y'all were rah and yelling. And did you not feel like you could take on the world in that moment? It's because you are connected to the power that fuels you. Recently, we had an issue in our house with cable. Is Spectrum out here? Spectrum cable? Okay, good. So, the TV would come on, but no cable. And the internet signal would go up and down. I mean, like it'd be there, then it would not be there, and then it would be buffering. Like we change it, try to change the channel, and it will buffer for like literally, I'm telling you, 20 minutes. You know that little thing where it gives you the gauge, 1%, 5%, 10%, 20, okay. So it would take literally 10 minutes to get from 0 to like 20%. And I'm like, really? I don't really want to watch TV all the time, but when I do, I need it to work. Right? Okay, yeah, a few people with me, that's good. Okay. So my husband is like the technical guru in our house. And I'm like, babe, here's the issue. So he looks at it and he tries to reset the box and he switches it out, nothing works. So we call the cable people, Spectrum. I ain't blaming Spectrum, I'm just letting you know that's who the provider is. So the rep talks us through these troubleshooting, you know how to say, well, did you try this and did you try that, and unplug and try and reset and switch it from the back and hang from the ceiling and then flip it around. So they give us these troubleshooting things to do. We do it all, okay? He says, well, man, we're gonna have to get you connected with the technician. Fantastic, and the technician comes out. Technician does the same thing, checks all the connections, goes outside to the box in the ground. And literally after 30 minutes, the man says, look, the issue is not outside. Your problem is your internal wire. The wire that carries the power from the outside in is not strong enough. It doesn't have the capacity to carry the fullness of what's available on the outside. So that's why you're having the problem you're having. And your cable is not going to work until you change that wire out.
Come on.
And get one with more capacity. That's what God does for us. When we connect with Him, He builds our capacity. That's why when you show up, when you may not feel like it, okay, when you say hi, when you really I don't really want to talk right now. When you're kind, when you could do some other stuff, when you give your effort, when you have every reason not to, that is God growing you. That is Him building your capacity so that you live better. And so you know what? Life will happen. Yes, it will. There will be ups and there will be downs. But the more connected you are with God, what happens is less likely to take you away from Him than it is to move you toward Him. That's what I'm saying. Connection. Confirmation. So I said, we connect with God. We want to avoid distraction, right? God builds our capacity. the next thing I want to talk about is confirmation. And I want to look at it in a little bit of an interesting way. When we read the text, Peter, one of the things he said, God, if that's you, tell me to come. And I thought about that for a minute. And I said, why does Peter want to confirm it's Jesus? Like, why does he need that confirmation? Right, they saw him, right? And I came to this conclusion. I believe Peter wanted to make sure, because he said, let me back up for a minute. He says, God, if it's you, call me to come walking on the water. So I believe Peter wanted to confirm that if he stepped out to walk, that he was walking toward Jesus and not without him. Okay, that's one thing. The second thing, I think the scripture tells us is Peter realized that he would be better off closer to Christ. The closer he was to Christ, the better off he'd be. Notice he was the only disciple that made the move to get the call, right? So Peter said, look, we in the boat, Jesus out there, let me get closer to Christ. I'm better off there. The other thing I want you to know, though, if you look at the scripture, he does not move until he gets confirmation. He does not step out the boat until Christ says, yes, come. Once he gets confirmation, he goes to the side of the boat, climbs out, and begins walking toward Christ. Why is that important? Because sometimes we can get so focused on what we want to do. We can get busy pursuing what we want to see happen, that we forget to check in. We forget to ask God what he wants. We can't hear what he wants, and sometimes we don't care what he wants. I'm by myself. Okay. We get so busy pursuing our own desires that, unlike Peter, we don't take the time to confirm that those desires are God approved. Again, I'm by myself. That's just me. Okay? That's no problem. That's no problem. Maybe this, okay. What is this? When it's raining, what's the first thing we grab? Really? Okay. It's raining. I got my umbrella. And if I'm caught in Harlingen or in San Benito or in Raymondville, and I didn't come prepared, and I just got the one umbrella, and I got a lot of folk with me, I do the little switch thing, right? I get together and I get close and I get clean, and we do that walk so nobody gets wet, right? Y'all with me? Okay, good, you're back with me, cool. Is there anybody that volunteers to step outside the umbrella when it's raining? Ain't nobody volunteering for that? Okay. That's exactly what we do when we chase our desires without checking in with God. Again, I'm by myself. See, God says, I will point you along the way, the best path for your life. He's clear about that. So the umbrella, when it's open and when it's up, it doesn't stop the rain from falling, but it stops it from falling on us. But here's the deal. Just like the umbrella is a covering, God's direction covers us. But our God is not required to cover and protect what he does not direct. Check in with him. Check in with him. LaFly is happy too. I want to ask you a question on that note. The things in your life right now that you have done and that you are doing, if you're honest, has your life turned out better when you've done your own thing? Or when you let God direct? Keep that in mind when you're tempted to go off course. I fly. All right. Engage God's power. So if we connect, if we confirm, let's engage. It's verse 30 when Peter sees the waves and the wind. And he gets terrified and begins to sink. That's our setup, right? I said, let's focus on that for right now, right?
Right.
But I'm perplexed, and maybe you're confused too, because what confuses me is that Peter is walking toward Christ, but it's when he sees the wind and the waves that he gets scared and begins to sink. What confuses me is that at the start of our text, they're in the boat, and the wind is blowing and there's waves. So that's not new, right? Furthermore, Jesus has already shown up. Remember, he said, take courage, I'm here. So you've got the wind and the waves, that's not new. You've got Christ, he's there, right? Now, let me give you a little background, because Jesus and Peter, they knew each other. Peter was a disciple. He had walked with Jesus, talked with Jesus. In fact, before this text, they had just finished feeding the 5,000.
Right.
So, based on Peter's experience, he had to know that Jesus was not just some ordinary man.
That's it.